Hi everyone. In the previous class, we have seen the concept of regular expression. Means we are going to define set of characters as one pattern. Through that pattern, I will go for searching whether this kind of pattern data is available in my group of data or not. Okay, fine. So how we are going to create these regular expressions and what are the various kind of meta characters available and which methods we need to use in order to check whether our pattern is available in the group of data or not. All those things we have seen in the previous class. Now in today's class, we'll see an important object that is DOM object. Okay, actually guys, so there are three types of DOMs are there. One is a core DOM, another one is XML DOM, another one is HTML DOM. HTML DOM. Core DOM is meant for it's a kind of a standards which is meant for any kind of document, any kind of document. Whereas coming to XML DOM, it is a set of standards which is meant for purely XML documents. Whereas HTML document, it is a standard for only HTML documents. That is, in simple words, we would like to define it as a web page. If you would like to work with any kind of web pages, then I need to go with the HTML DOM. Actually, guys, this DOM means you can call it as simply document object model. Through this model, we are going to access or we are going to modify the HTML elements. HTML elements, meaning that if you would like to work with if you would like to work with your web page, meaning that I would like to access a particular data, or I would like to access I would like to change a particular data, or I would like to add something, or I would like to delete something from the HTML web page, then I need to go with the concept of HTML DOM. HTML DOM. So in this semester, in our curriculum, we are going to see the HTML DOM, that simply we can call it as a document object. Document object. Okay, guys, this document object is the root for all other objects, all other objects except window object. So this window object is the parent for what? Document object. So window object is the parent for document object, guys. So whatever thing that you are trying to access with respect to document, that I can able to access with respect to document also, window also. Okay, fine. So in simple terminology, if I am trying to say that document object model, with the help of this we can able to get, or we can able to change, or we can able to add, or we can able to delete any kind of HTML elements. Please bear with me. So this is a theory. I will show with the execution part. Okay, fine. Yes, guys. Now what I will do, I will try to create one web page first. Then I will show all the things. Yeah, I have a page. I am trying to create one HTML page. Now, for simplicity, I am trying to remove these meta tags. In my title, I am saying that is my title, and I am going to create two tags called as h1 tag, h1 my heading, and I'm going to use one tag called anchor tag, something like jr.com, followed by my link. Okay, guys. Now I will open this in the browser. Yes, I got two output. One is heading as my heading and link as my link. Now actually what happened, guys, whenever our web browser opens or loads our document for the first time, it is going to create internally a kind of structure. We can call it as tree structure. Tree structure, meaning that when the browser loads web page for the first time, it will create a tree structure. It will create a tree structure, and this tree structure will contains various kind of elements. All those elements I will call it as nodes. call it as nodes. Guys, what will happen? I will try to show for you. Observe what happened. This is the root element. It is a kind of tree structure, meaning that when the web page is loaded for the first time, it will create this kind of tree structure. Root element HTML, it is contains two parts. One is head section, another one is body section. Head section contains a tag called title tag. It contains data as my title. Similarly, body contains two tags. One is anchor tag, another one is h1 tag. Anchor tag contains one attribute like href and the text like my link, and the heading tag like h1 contains the text as my header. So this is the way your browser is going to create this structure whenever your web page is loaded for the first time. And for all these elements, the root element is document, meaning that if you would like to access an anchor tag, I need to start with compulsory document object. If you would like to access this data, my header, I need to compulsory go with document object only. Why it converted a HTML document into a tree structure means whenever there is an image, we can able to easily understood, right? If you are going to represent some data in the form of pictorial representation, then I can able to easily understood. Similarly, if I am going to represent my data in the form of some hierarchical manner, like for my title is parent. For title, parent is head, and head and body are siblings. For anchor tag, parent is root element, sorry, parent is body. For h1, parent is body. For body, parent element is h1. For html, for html, child elements are like head and body. Head and body are siblings. Like this, we have created, the browser is going to create this kind of structure so that it will be easy for a browser to retrieve the data. It can able to traverse from top to bottom, or it can traverse from bottom to top. So it is easy for the browser, or it is convenient for the browser to traverse these elements easily, so that while traversing it can take any data whatever it required by the user. So that is the reason every loaded page is going to convert into a kind of tree structure that will be done by your browser. So where each element I am calling it as nodes. Okay, guys, fine. So this is general introduction about your DOM concept. Now we'll go into practical. So, guys, what will happen? What is the use of this document object means? We can able to access any data, right? That is what I am saying. We can able to get or we can able to access any data. Yes. Before going to perform any kind of operation, like I need to get or I need to change or I need to add or I need to delete any kind of HTML element, we have to first and should compulsory have to select one element. Compulsory select one element. So for selecting element, we will have three kind of methods are there. One is get element by ID. Get element by ID, where you have to pass here one ID. I mean, in CSS, you are going to select an element with respect to element name or with respect to class name or with respect to id name, you can able to select. Similarly, in JavaScript also, if you would like to select an element, I have to use a method called get element by id method, which is meant for to select an element based on id. The name itself clearly provides. Similarly, there is a method called get elements by class name. By class name, we have to pass class name here. So this method is meant for to select an element based upon class name. Guys, if you observe here, what I am writing is, you can observe there is a little bit difference between this and that. Here I have written one extra s. This extra s because in my HTML document, class names can be duplicate. Whenever I am trying to find out an element with respect to class name, there may be more than one class element. So it is going to get multiple elements, right? That is why I am trying to define it as elements. Whereas coming to get element by ID, ID is unique in the entire web page, so it is going to return only one kind of element. That's why I'm taking it as get element by ID. And one more thing, you have to make it compulsory. JavaScript is case sensitive. That's why I'm saying that you have to compulsory use wherever the capital, you have to use their capital letter only. Okay. In Java, you have a convention. How we are going to write the method names? Except the first word, the consequent or the subsequent words first letter should be compulsory capital letter. This is the generalized syntax you have to follow while writing the methods in Java. Similarly, how we are going to write the class names in Java? We are going to write the class names as every word first letter should be compulsory capital. Similarly, how we are going to write the constants? Entire variable name should be in the capital letter only. Like that, we'll have some generalized rules. All those rules you have to follow while writing any kind of methods in any programming language. That is why the same convention I am following here. The same convention they are implemented also. Similarly, the another way of accessing the elements is get elements by tag name. There is another way, right? With respect tag also I can able to access. If you want to access an element based on the tag name, then I can go with the get elements by tag name. Yes guys, so let me show with an example for you in a practical manner. I'll go with here and I will go with the press F12. Okay, fine. Guys, if I am trying to write like document, simply observe what it is written. It is written your entire code. You can observe whatever the code that I have written there, your entire code is displaying. For example, I would like to get only the title. Then I can write like document dot. I will get my title. For example, I want to get the only head part. Then I can write like document dot head part. For example, I want to get only document dot body part. Then I can go with the body part. You can extract here. Like this you can. For example, I would like to have only the links. Document dot. I can go with the links. How many links? So then length is 1. So there is only one anchor tag. That's why it is returning the 1. Similarly, if you would like to get images, document dot images. Observe, it is returning a collection, but the length is 0 because there are no images right in my code. My code there are no images. That's why it is returning 0. Like this, you can able to work with this document object. Okay, fine. Here my requirement is I would like to find elements based upon ID, based upon class name, and based upon the tag name, right? So before going for accessing all those things, I would like to create multiple lines of code here for the purpose of showing our outputs clearly. I'm trying to define it as krishna.com. This is my link to my link to, and I'm going to create one bold tag, bold RGKT newsfeed. I'm going to close my bold tag and I'm going to create one another list. Here I'm trying to define the list. CSC. Okay, fine. I'm trying to define it as AC mechanical. Let us assume that. So this is the kind of page. If I load this on my browser, it will look like this kind of structure. Yes, guys. So for timing, what I will do is I'll make this. Okay, no problem. I will make this only. Yeah. So as I would like to access with respect to ID, I am going to create IDs for this. ID equal to this as, let me take as anchor1. Whereas for this anchor tag, I am going to use it as anchor2, and I am going to use the class name as L1. Class name as L. Guys, there can be more than one class, right? So for another list also, I am going to define one class. The class name is L1 only, and I'm going to create one more attribute id as, let me take it as list, and for this id as I'm considering it as bold. For this I'm taking id as body. So once I declared all this id class, all these things I can able to easily access with respect to directly from there itself. Yes guys, you can remember, for example I would like to access the element this one, bold arjucate nose video. Then what I can do is, first I'm going to refresh. So if you would like to access that particular element, first I have to compulsory access with respect to object, right? That is document object. Document dot will have various kind of ways. One is, among those, one is get element by ID. Get element by ID of, what is that name? Bold. You can observe. You got it, right? That element you are accessing. Similarly, if you would like to access some kind of another list, then I can go with the list. You can able to get entire list. Similarly, if you would like to get that anchor tags, Let me call it as anchor1, anchor1. So anchor1 tag is displayed. So like this, you can able to get an element with respect to ID. Similarly, if you would like to access with respect to class name, document dot, we have a class called get elements by class name of, I'm going to write it as L1. L1. I got the class names. With respect to class name, I'm accessing, right? So it is going to length, it is going to return a HTML collection of length 2. What are those? One is anchor tag, another is another list. Another is another list. Guys, you can observe the difference between these two. This is get element by ID. With respect to ID, it is action and it is going to produce only one element. Whereas coming to HTML get element by class name, it is going to return a HTML collection of elements. Okay. Similarly, we'll have one more kind of method, get element by tag name. Let me take my tag name as anchor tag. It is also going to return a HTML collection only. This is the difference between these three. It is going to return a collection of this. I mean, first one is going to return, this is second one, and this is third one. Okay guys, first one is going to return only one matched element, only one matched element. If not matched, if not matched, it will return null. It will return null. Whereas coming to second one and third one, it is going to return HTML collection. This is what important one. HTML collection. HTML collection. That is what I have shown, right? Yes. This is the way you can able to access any kind of element. Yes, guys. Once we access elements, once we done the accessing, we can able to perform any kind of operation, change, delete, or add or whatever it may be. You can able to perform that. We can able to do. Yes. Once we access, once we access, next step is we need to modify it. We need to modify it. But before going to modify it, we need to access once again the data, right? We need to modify once again the data. Access it the, here what we are doing, we are accessing the HTML element. Then we need to access the data. How we are going to access the data means, this accessing of data, we can do it in three ways. One is in the form of inner HTML, another one is in the form of inner text, another one in the form of text content. Text content. There is a difference between these three. Let me tell that. See here, for example, I am trying to define get elements by ID of bold. Here we got, guys, I point out to this element now. Now if I would like to get the data in this one, what I can do, as it is an object, and with the help of dot operator, I can able to get its data. I'm going to define it as inner HTML. I got argquit newsfeed. Yes, bold I am getting. Yes. Similarly, if I go with the inner text, I'm getting argquit newsfeed. If I go with text content, you will get argquit newsfeed. But you didn't get any difference. But why we are using these three different properties? Generally, these three properties are meant for accessing the data only, But while making of assignment, you can observe some little bit difference. See, observe. If I am going for inner HTML, I would like to assign some data, right? So this is the way you are going to assign inner HTML. Clearly here it will define inner HTML. If I am going to go with the CSC welcomes you, it will automatically allocate that CSC welcomes to here. You can observe here the modification. It will modify to CSC welcomes you. This is the plain text. Instead, if you want, you can able to add HTML code also. Font color equal to red, closing of my font. That is the advantage of inner HTML. Observe, guys, here you can observe it will be converted to some red color. That is the advantage of inner HTML. But whereas coming to inner text property, observe I am trying to do the same thing by just simply modifying here inner text. I am pressing enter. You can observe you won't get it. That code will be entirely copied here. That is the difference between inner HTML and inner text. In inner HTML, what will happen is we can able to write HTML code also. That will be analyzed by the browser. Whereas in inner text, if even though you write HTML code, that will not be analyzed by your browser. Okay, so that is the reason should not use HTML code. Okay, fine. So you can use HTML code. Uh, Browser cannot debug HTML code. Whereas here in inner HTML, browser can debug. Browser can debug HTML code. That is the difference between this inner text and inner HTML. Whereas coming to the inner text and text content, you can observe here there is some little bit difference between these two. Here, what I am trying to do is, for example, let me take here arjicate node video. I am going to take some span tag, span something like some phone number I have taken. Now, if I refresh my browser and trying to access this data once again with respect to this one dot text content, I will get the same data. Uh, Instead of this text content, I would like to have inner text. Inner text. I got the same data. But where it is the difference? If you observe, for example, I am trying to apply some style equal to display equal to none. So display property, you know, right? Display property is meant for whether I would like to display the data, display the required thing or not. That too also I would like to convert into block level element, in level element, none, hidden. All these things you can able to do with help of display property. Now, guys, observe. Now I got inner text. If I am trying to access with the inner text, what you got? You got only arjicate node. But if I am trying to access with respect to text content, you will get the data. Even though here there is no mobile number, it is getting, meaning that this won't affect text content, won't affect the styling properties. Text content won't affect the styling properties. It won't affect the visibility. Visibility. Whereas coming to inner text, it is going to affect the visibility. It is going to affect this. This is the difference between these three kind of ways of accessing the data. Okay, guys. Yes. Fine. Now, guys, if you observe here these three methods, like get element by id, get elements by class name, get elements by tag name, there is some little bit problem exist here. For example, I am the employee has written certain code for you with respect to get elements by class name of jk. In future, I have modified my class name jk and deleted that class. Instead, what I did is I made it as with respect to id. I made it with respect to id. Now, where I need to change the code? I need to change this my code in JavaScript also, because I need to completely change this method because there is no class name. Now I would like to access with respect to tag name. I have to modify get elements by tag name of so and so you have to return. This is the problem, right? Instead, what you can do is you can go with the query selector method. There is a method called query selector method which can support any kind of data, which can support either element name, or it can support id, or it can support class name also. Only one method can support anything, but you have to make remember, whenever you're trying to access with respect to id, you have to make it hash. Whenever you're trying to access with respect to class name, you have to make it prefix with dot symbol. For example, try to observe. I would like to access with respect to query selector. Document dot query selector of. I would like to access my bold tag that I have made it as right id. You got right? This is the way you can able to access. For example, I would like to access uh, class name. Document dot query selector of if you would like to access the specific class name, I have to pass it as dot L1. You can observe, guys, query selector of L1. So this is the way you can able to access with respect to class name of query selector. But if you observe, there will be two elements having the class name as L1. This is L1 and this is L1. But it is returning only one element. That is a problem with the query selector, meaning that query selector is going to return the only first matched element. If you would like to return all matched elements, then I can go with a method called query selector all method dot L. It's going to return a node list which contains all the things. So meaning that there is another method called query selector all method which will access the same data. But the difference is query selector method is going to return only first match element. Query selector all method is going to return all match elements. Okay, guys. Yes. Now on this one, on this query selector uh, all, if I made something like dot inner HTML, now what will happen? It will return some undefined because query selector all method or get elements by class name or get elements by tag name is going to return a group of data. On this group of data, I cannot able to apply a single property. For example, you can observe somewhere get elements by class name. See, it's going to return right. On this one, you cannot able to apply inner HTML or inner text or text content because it is a group of data. On this group of data, I cannot able to apply single property. So what you have to do instead, it is going to return a node collection or a collection of data HTML collection. You have to take element by element. So for that, what you can do, we can able to iterate the entire array and you can process it. So what I will do is I would like to show that execution. So for that, I will like to write a function here. I'm going to create one script tag. Here I would like to write one function. Function. Let me take as CSC. Hi sir. Now I would like to access the list of uh, we can call the list of elements, the list of li data. What I can do, I can able to go with the document dot get elements by tag name. Tag name. What elements you need to find out? For example, I would like to find out li data. I need to find out li data. It is going to return a collection, right? That I am going to store in a variable called j variable. J variable. Then, if I am trying to apply some property j dot inner text or inner HTML, it is going to produce an error because on collection you cannot able to apply these properties. So what you can do is instead we need to extract this collection and you need to apply the properties. So for that, what I can do, I can go for creating one loop to extract the data. Let I equal to 0, I less than j dot length I plus plus. I can able to do that console dot log of how we are going to do that collection of index position j of I. I have saved it, and whenever the user clicks some button here, for example, I am asking the user. So let me create one horizontal rule, and then I'm going to create a button. Button, click here, and whenever somebody clicks on this button, I need to open. I need to execute this CSC function. I have refreshed, guys. I have refreshed, guys. If I click here, what happened? It provide three lists. One is list, first list, second list, and third list. But in the previous output, you got all in one single collection. But we divide into three parts. Nice. Okay. For example, I would like to need only the data. Then what I can do? I can go with any kind of property, right? Inner HTML. I'm going to refresh. Click here. It is going to produce CSC, ECE, mechanical. Like this, you can able to process the data. Meaning that first step what we did the accessing of an element. After accessing the element, we are going to access the data, and that data I can able to modify once I access. Okay, not only about accessing of data, we can able to change the styling also. We can able to change the styling also. For that, what you have to do first, we have to access the element, access the element. Then we have a property called style property, style attribute. Through this property, once we define the style, I can able to access one property and I can able to define some value to this. For example, my property value is something like red color. Red color, meaning that if you would like to define, if you would like to change any element CSS properties, then I can able to do with this one simply. Guys, if you observe here, what I am doing is I would like to access the bold tag here, document dot get element by ID of. How we are going to access this bold data? Bold dot. Yes, we accessed element. Now on this, I would like to make some style change. That is why I am taking it as style dot. What you need to change? What property you need to change? I would like to change my background color. Background color equal to, let me consider it as red color. Observe this argument nujbid background color will be modified to red color. This is the way you can able to. For example, I would like to modify uh, color of the text. Color of the text. Then I can able to write simply color of the text. Color of the text to some is it visible or some white color. Let me come. So like this, you can able to modify its styling also. Okay, fine. Now my question is, I would like to do the same process on this list of elements. For this list of elements, my background color should be some kind of blue color. Some kind of blue color. What we can do? See, we already accessed every element efficiently. On this element, I can able to do some modification. Observe j of I. I have accessed the elements. On each and every element, I am going to make some style property, meaning that I would like to change some CSS styles. Style dot. What I need to change? I need to change background color. Background color equal to some, let me call some red. We can refresh here, and if I click here, observe automatically my background color will be changed to red color. Yes, I don't want like that. I would like to have different color for each and every element. Instead of placing a default red color, I would like to modify this color to a random color. Okay, then what I can do, simply I can go for declaring one array, something like color array equal to, for example, let me call a blue color, and then I will go with the red color, then I will go with the yellow color, then I will go with let me call some green color. This is an array. Now what I will do is, instead of passing this value statically, I can pass here some random value from the array. For example, not only random value, I am going to pass the collection of. This is a simple way. Collection of, meaning that for first iteration blue color will get, for second iteration red color will get, for third iteration yellow, for fourth iteration we will get the green color. Observe, if I refresh and click here, it will modify to this one. If I am going to add one more element here, like for example, instead of mechanical, I would like to add some chemical. Refresh, click here, automatically will get something like this. Yes guys, fine. This is the way you can able to change the colors. This is the way you can able to work with various kind of methods and the properties of this HTML DOM. Okay, fine. Fine. In the next class we'll see the traversing the DOM, how to traverse the elements of the tree structure. All those things we'll see in the next class.